Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint, the only West Ham fan post-match fallout show on the internet. We have watched the game that was West Ham 0, Fulham 1. I did a video on Lawless Live, just a little video, and I said it's the first nail in our coffin. I think so. I don't know what you guys think, but that was a must-win game, lads. And not only did we not win, we lost. Shocking.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. It's disappointing because we had this run of games where, you're looking at it, you're thinking out of the 4 games, a minimum, if we've got any chance of surviving, you're going to need 9 points minimum. And now we're looking at we've got to get 3 wins in a row, which we haven't done since probably the 60s, I don't think. Yeah, do you know what? It's a difficult one because the performance wasn't that bad. It's just we don't take our chances, And the difference for me is that Fulham haven't got a lot of striking options, but what they do is they've got a striker and they just stick him up front. And if something falls to him, they know he's going to 9 times out of 10 score, and which we don't. We've got a striker who we put on the bench and don't utilise enough. It's just I just don't get the thinking behind it. I really don't.
Yeah.
Mate, honestly, that's the thing, right? This is the thing. I was sitting there last night, thinking about it after the game. I said a few things to different people about, the manager and things like that. And like you said, Ryan, the performance overall wasn't that bad. We struggled really to create chances in the first half, but we did create chances in the second, and we didn't take them. But I'm still sticking by this. The madness of playing the same 11 that we saw against Manchester City in a game, like you said, must win, huge game, big points needed, big performance needed, and we still play without a striker.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, there's no reasoning for it. It didn't work against Manchester City, didn't really work the game before that, but we insist on starting with the same 11. No striker. Like you said, they just stick their striker up front. He didn't do much in the game realistically, apart from score, which is what he's there to do.
What I don't understand, Scott, as well, is that before Wilson was dropped, he scored a couple of goals, and you never see other teams do it. If Haaland scored, you don't see Guardiola dropping Haaland. You don't see any other team dropping their main striker when he's scoring goals. Yet Wilson gets a couple of goals and you think, he's finding a bit of form and the players are getting used to him. And then he drops him for 4 games and doesn't start him. But why? I don't understand it. Is it something to do with his contract? Is it something to do that Sullivan don't want to pay the money when he starts? It can't be that, surely, because Nuno is probably thinking, I've got a striker, I want to play him, so why would I drop him?
If I was Nuno, then have the bollocks to come out and say, listen, I would like to start Wilson every game, but due to his contract and I've been limited, come out and say it. Don't hide. Because what's the worst that happens? You get sacked and you don't get relegation on your CV. So if he's not coming out and saying it, I blame him. I blame you, for not starting Wilson. It's a madness. I think he's still our top goal scorer on 3 or something. That's the mad thing about it.
This is the thing, right? This is the thing for me, yeah? This goes back to Bournemouth, right? This goes back to Bournemouth. Scores 2 goals. He's on a hat-trick. He's playing well. Doesn't look tired. Doesn't look like he's struggling with injury, right? Them 2 goals were great finishes. They were striker finishes. They were reactive finishes, yeah? Right? Because he'd played a couple of games beforehand, right? He then takes him off 50-odd minutes because he can't play a full 90, apparently. Then we play Liverpool and we sit back. He plays him 79 minutes, right? And then I think he played the next game and then we drop him for 3 or 4 games, like Ryan said. Then you're expecting him to come on and perform like he did against Bournemouth, right? He had two great opportunities in that second half, and I think he should have scored the second one. And he's got to take that on. He's got to take that. He missed that chance. He should be burying that chance. It was a good chance. But part of me thinks if he had started the previous couple of games, even if he had sat at City, but started the previous games to them, on the form that he was on when he was banging in the goals, he scores that chance. At least one of them chances he scores because he's fresh, because he's sharp. Yeah,
Yes.
asking him to come on and only getting limited minutes before that and expecting him to bury them chances is a bit much.
You know yourself that strikers, when they're in form and they're scoring goals, they find it natural to take chances like that. Wilson coming on yesterday, he hasn't got a lot of game time over the last few games, and he's going to have a bit of rust, But Bowen as well. Bowen should have finished a couple of his chances yesterday. The thing is, we're just not taking our chances, and the problem is we're conceding too many goals and we're not scoring enough, and that only ends in relegation. So we've got to get something right. We've got to change something.
I know we don't read. Sorry, Dad, I know we don't read out the comments really on here, but Kaz, I think it was, just said there. Look at Calvert-Lewin. He's consistent in playing. Now he's started to score goals. You've got to have a focal point, and look how different we play when we've got a Wilson up top. A natural striker who makes the movements. Watch back the game yesterday, right? Especially in the first half. Watch Bowen and Paquetá move into the same positions, run into the same spaces. Watch Somerville and Bowen do exactly the same thing because they're both thinking like wingers.
Yeah, we don't give opposition centre-backs anything to think about when we don't play Wilson. Because when Wilson's on their shoulder and he's making them runs, you see the difference in the second half. How many chances did we have? Okay, we haven't taken any, but we've created chances. In the first half, as you said, Bowen drifts out to the right. Paquetá drifts out to the right. The one frustrating thing with me with Paquetá yesterday was how he slowed the game down for us. He slowed the game down. Like, you're talking about a Brazilian playmaker here, and like, he's someone that he gets the ball. There was a point where Bowen had made a lovely run. Paquetá doesn't see the ball. He just turns back and goes back and plays it into Potts, and then Potts goes across and it goes out to Somerville, and he'll end up losing the ball. And I'm like, even when we made the substitution, when we brought Souček on, what does Paquetá like to do? He likes to look up and float that ball in the area. Well, we take him off when we bring on someone who's tall enough to win their headers in the box. So the thing is, for me with Nuno, he's not helping himself here because, I know there's fans that, and I know, Scott, you've been one that have questioned him since day one, and rightly so. Everyone's got their opportunities. I've been wanting to get behind him because I think that there are certain things I've liked that he's done at the football club since he's been in, like giving the youth a chance and the way he comes across in interviews and that. But he's not helping himself with these subs and his game management, and it's going to cost him. I know we're already talking about bringing in another manager. I mean, you've seen people talking about Harry Redknapp coming in. I mean, are we getting that desperate now? I've got nothing against Harry Redknapp. Love the years when Harry Redknapp was in charge at West Ham, but we're talking about what, 3 managers in a season, and we're talking about going to someone that left the club in 2003, 2001. Sorry,
hasn't managed in what, like 10 years or so? When's the last time he actually managed a team?
78 years old. Do you really think Harry Redknapp needs this stress at his age?
No, it's I don't believe a word of that Redknapp stuff. But this is the situation. The thing is with Nuno, and I guess I'm sort of been on the fence because I criticise him, but I'm not Nuno out. But he don't seem, from a football perspective, to have any bollocks about him. Like the way we approach games, we never just fucking go for it. Do you know what I mean? It's always playing with a bit of reservation about us. And I look at the game, we started awful yesterday. We didn't grow into the game, but there was never a moment, even at 1-0 down, where we was putting our foot on their necks and really making them worried. And that's the approach to the game. And it's on the mat.
No, I agree, mate. And it was frustrating yesterday because it wasn't a great Fulham performance. I mean, they had more chances than us, more shots on target. But when you look at the balance of the play, I didn't think that they was in the game, really. I mean, we were better than them. But as I said earlier, they've got a striker on the pitch who's got a good goal-scoring record against us. Just leave him up there. He knows they're going to get a chance. Oh, look, it come from a Ollie Scholes mistake, and some of the abuse I've seen that kid get from some of our fans is a disgrace. You you're talking about someone, right? Let me tell you this now, right? Ollie Scholes yesterday made a mistake, and you see afterwards he was in tears because it hurt him. It hurt him. He let the team down. A few weeks ago, Lucas Paqueta got sent off against Liverpool because he was a fucking idiot, and he walked off the pitch with a little smirk on his face. Doesn't give a shit. Give me Ollie Scholes over Lucas Paqueta any day of the week. That image of Ollie Scholes crying after the game really, really reminded me of Mark Noble when we lost to Spurs in the Great Escape season, and Noble was in tears, because they're two players there that care, that love the football club. I felt so sorry for Ollie Scholes yesterday. And look, he can put it right on Tuesday when we play Brighton. That's the good thing about football. Games come thick and fast, and he's got a chance now to redeem himself. I thought he had a really good game yesterday, Ollie Scholes. I even think Kilman had a decent game yesterday.
Yep.
I don't think anyone.
I thought overall he defended quite well yesterday, mate.
Yeah,
to be honest,
he's putting some really good tackles. He was also creating chances going forward. He was putting in some lovely balls. His corners were much better than Bowen's, and it's unlucky. He swings at the ball and he misses it. It's a mistake. It's a bad mistake. If he connects with it, it gets cleared. It's a do or die moment, right? And it's unfortunate. But all this talk about he's not good enough, he's not this, is bollocks. And I said this earlier. The scenes afterwards of him crying, I really have a problem with the fact that no one went up to him and put their arm around him. I see a video of Bowen behind him. Ollie Scholes is there crying. Bowen's just there, and I defend him as a captain. All that. That is poor. Some senior player should have went.
The only player I did see actually go up to him was Kyle Walker-Peters. He's the only player that I actually see stop Ollie Scholes in the middle of the pitch and have a chat with him. But I agree. The more senior players, the captain, they should have been putting their arm around him, saying, "Look, do you know what? To be fair, after it happened, the first player to run over to him was Todibo. And he said, look, it's happened. Let's just carry on. You could look back at that goal. Scholes might miss the clearance, but then you could also question why was Todibo 4 yards off of Raul Jimenez. He wasn't marking him. They obviously thought that Scholes was going to clear it, so they've obviously made their way out, where Raul Jimenez is thought, do you know what? Chance me lucky. I stay in the box and bang. And look, it's a great head. Fulham had some good chances yesterday. I think that Harry Wilson chance in the first half, that was a great save by Areola, by the way. That was getting top corner. That was flying in the back of the net.
Yeah.
See, you guys probably wouldn't have seen it from the telly, but the first one to go over Scholes after that happened was Souček. He was straight over there, right? And this is the thing for me. You saying that Scholes is getting a lot of abuse online from fans and stuff like that. Take that abuse off of Scholes, direct it to Nuno, direct it to Bowen. Right, because Bowen again yesterday showed me why he ain't a captain. Right, that kid was heartbroken at what happened now, and I know he's a young man, he's a young lad, he's still learning his trade. He's got to toughen up in this league, and mistakes happen. And unfortunately for goalkeepers and defenders, 99 times out of 100, when you make a mistake, it costs your team a goal. Right, like you said, we shouldn't have switched off and just thought, he's going to clear it, no problem. We should have been alert to where the striker was. Right, Bowen didn't go up to him once. Right, and again, lack of leadership. We saw it against Liverpool, lack of leadership when he allowed Paqueta to get sent off. Paqueta, he's fully to blame for that, but Bowen should have dragged him away, right? And I said this all along. Bowen needs to be stripped to that captaincy and needs to concentrate on his own game because he has been a talisman for us for a long time now. The chips are down. We need that boy to raise his game. We need him to go back and play in his natural position, which again, this is why you aim a lot of the thingy at Nuno. Because he's not a striker, he's got to stop playing him as a striker, right? But he needs to stand up and be counted in them sort of moments. And that's twice now he's fouled his players and he's fouled us as the fans. So he needs to really, really step up. As I said, there was mistakes there. Like you guys said, Todibo should never switch off. Souček went up to him. Todibo went up to him. Todibo, for me, again, has been trying to lead from the back. And we lack leaders, we lack fighters. But Todibo's somebody who stepped up. Freddie Potts is someone who stepped up. Fernandez, again, absolutely everywhere. But they're let down by the manager with his stupid tactics and his ridiculous substitutions. What was all that about taking some of him off to bring Wilson on? Magassa didn't have the best game yesterday. You don't need three holding midfielders playing in the same team.
I disagree about Magassa. Personally, I think he had a really good game, to be honest. But Dan,
you're 0-0 in a game you need to win. Right? Fulham did cause us a few problems, but I'll be honest, we were sitting there watching that game yesterday, and people around us going, "Oh, this has got 0-0 written all over it." You don't need Magassa and Potts. You could have sacrificed Magassa, left Potts and Fernandes in that midfield, put Paquetá in the 10, kept Somerville on, and pushed Wilson up top, and actually have a go. You've got someone. Look, I've said this. I think you've said it, Dan. When you look at Somerville, his final product isn't great. But he still causes problems. When you bring Wilson on, they've got two players to worry about.
Yeah.
As soon as you do that, you took Somerville off. You've lost that pace on the left-hand side.
Yeah. I said it on the watch along. I said I want to see Wilson and Somerville because all the work rate that Somerville does, right? And then you've got the finishing ability of a Wilson. That's what I want to see. Personally, out of the three-man midfield, and I thought Potts had a good game yesterday. But he's the one I would have taken off because I think Magassa actually started getting involved in the attack. He put a perfect ball on a plate for Jared Bowen, who didn't finish it. He was starting putting balls across goal. Like he was contributing to the attack. So I would have kept Magassa on and just took Potts off, right? Because I wanted to go more attacking, not because Potts had a bad game. You know, I like Potts, and I actually think when we likely go down, he's the one I'd put the armband on, right? Unless we can get a Kevin Nolan type to drop down with experience, he's the one. But I would have took him off. And I just think, like, Ryan's right. Like, really, Paquetá I thought was poor. Bowen weren't at his best. But other than that, like, everyone was decent. But as a team, like, we don't have it as a team. And that's the issue for me. You know, I saw individual good performances, but it's not a good team unit, you know. And I think that's
we're not a team. This is the problem. We're not a team. There's no team mentality out there whatsoever. You got players in one direction and others in another.
As you said earlier, Scott, there's not enough leaders out there. You know, I've said it a couple of weeks ago. You look at that back line. There's not a commanding defender. There's not a leader back there. The midfielders, there's not really. I mean, Potts has got leadership abilities about him, but they're young. They need someone with an older head up there. And then, like, there's just not enough fighters in that team for me. Like, it's worrying, to be fair, because this is the first time that I've actually thought, you know what, yeah, we might go down this season. You know, I personally, and I know people will laugh, but I still think we will survive. It won't be easy, but I still think we will. I think we'll get it right in January, and I think there's a couple of players out there that are coming and will boost this team. And but you know, it's going to be tough, you know, because
I think it'll be too late by then, mate. Like I said, if we don't
yesterday, obviously Forest losing, us losing, it's sort of still that 5-point gap. Leeds picked up a point today, but these next 3 games, after these next 3 games, if we don't pick up any points, then yeah, I'll say that's it. We've got no chance. But I still think, like, people are saying a 5-point gap is too much. I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. It's 2 wins, 2 defeats for them, and there it is. So,
do you know why it feels like it's too much, right? Because we've won 3 games all season. So in reality, you hope, like, you think if we can go on a run, it just seems so like just improbable that we can do it. We've won 3 in 18, and then we're going to go and try and win 3 in a row, which we need to do. Like, they're not giving us enough to show that we can go and beat Brighton. Right, even Forest, like I said, it's a 5-point. Like Leeds, I think are started up. I watched them today, and people think I'm a Leeds fan, but they are so much better than us. I think Forest, you know, you see the Forest game. Yes, they did lose, but they gave City a good game. Like, they're better than us.
Yeah. Right, Leeds are a decent team, and you know they've got a goal scorer in them now in Calvert-Lewin. He's found form. They've got, you know, they've got Ellen Road, which will play a big part of this season, you know. But we've just got to hope that they drop points. All we can do is win our games, and we've just got to hope. And I know it's tough to say win 3 in a row because we haven't done it for a long time. But look, I just got to keep that faith, because if I'm not keeping that faith, there's no point me really like watching them anymore, because I might as well just
we have, mate. That's all we have left.
Just admit we're down, but we're 5. But if I was sitting here in Wolves' position, 2 points at the bottom of the table, then yeah, I'll be sitting there thinking, yeah, we've got no chance. But you know what? It wouldn't. I said this to Nicky earlier when I spoke to him. It wouldn't surprise me next week if Wolves beat us, and they beat us heavily as well. you know, because they haven't won. You know, they're desperate for a win. They're the worst team in the Premier League, but you know, we're not that far off of them.
No, we're the gifted Gibson. They've
crazy
actually
thing-
played winning games.
The crazy thing for me, right, is that you sit there, like you guys say that Forest are far better than us and Leeds are far better than us, right?
Right. I think Forest are better. I think Leeds are far better.
Right. I don't think they are. Right. Honestly, don't think they are. We went up there and lost to Leeds due to the manager. Right. We gave Leeds a game in the end when he put the right players in the right positions. This is our big problem, is our manager. Right. Yesterday, we were probably the better side yesterday. Overall, win the 90 minutes. Right.
I don't know.
Again, against Villa, we competed. Against Brighton, we competed. Against Man United, we competed. And each time in them games, we've been let down by our manager and his tactics and his substitutions. There's enough there to get us out of trouble, right, if we had correctly in January. But the manager, for me, is the biggest issue. Because
so what do you think we should get rid of him?
I said this a long time. I called this a while ago, mate.
Who would you bring in though? Realistically,
so this is the problem, right? This is where I am. I'm very much the manager has got a lot of faults of why we're in this position, right? He's got a lot to blame for why we're in this position.
If you want him gone, Scott, then just say it.
No, I'm not sitting on the fence, mate. My problem is I know this ownership are not going to go and buy a decent manager out of their contract. So you're going to end up with someone who's on a free, someone who's been out of the game for a long time. You know, if you're looking at Harry Redknapp to come back after all the years out of management and think you're going to get something drastically changed, you're not. Right. So they're going to look for cheap alternatives if they do decide to get rid of him. Nuno, for me, is the best of a bad bunch.
The thing is, as well, you said about Nuno. I said about obviously Leeds and why I think they're like better than us. And the thing is, with Nottingham Forest, I think they've got a better manager than us. I think Sean Dyche is perfect for what they need in the situation they're in. I mean, if Sean Dyche was out of work now, we'd probably be thinking we'd take Sean Dyche at West Ham. And the thing is, like you go back to like, you know, when Moyes left, we had Lopetegui come in, then we had Potter, now we've had Nuno. And we've just seen no improvement in three managers. You know, yes, it started under David Moyes, but look, people forget David Moyes' last season at West Ham, we finished 9th and got Europa League quarter-final. You know, we'd give anything for that now, wouldn't we? Mm-hmm. You know, and then Lopetegui come in, spent a lot of money on shit. You know, look at Nicholas Fulkrug, right? This bloke has sat there and screamed and shouted and had a go at everyone apart from himself. Yeah, who's the first player to fucking leave? Who's the first player out the door? Couldn't wait to get to AC Milan. You know, he's another one. People loved him because he was. You know, they thought he was going to come in and be this big striker, plays for Germany, comes on and does this with his fucking ears. You know, yeah, he never done nothing for us. You know, and it's just players like that what we've wasted money on over the years, and we keep doing it. Yeah, we as fans. Not me personally, because I back these two signings. But when we was linked with Harry Maguire and McTominay, no one wanted them. No one wanted them. And yet, go and look at them. Look what McTominay's doing now. You're telling me Harry Maguire's not better than Kilman and Mavropanos? That's what I'm saying. Sometimes as fans, we need to just think who we are and what we are as a football club. We're not a top 4 club. Yes, we've had a few runs in Europe over the past few years, but sometimes you have to break it down and look at us. And when Moyes wanted to bring in the likes of Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay and then other players like that, people just didn't want to know because they didn't have a fancy Spanish surname or a Brazilian surname.
Ain't that sort of the issues that we have is it's sort of big players, big reputations on big money that probably think they're better than the club. I mean, they didn't want to come here, but then you have them who are on massive money. They think they're above West Ham. And then we're not necessarily get the performance because they aren't all the way in committed because, like I said, they just think they're stepping down.
Yeah, and yeah, you can understand that when you're internationals and you play for, like, I know Man United haven't been great over the last few years, but they're still Manchester United. And yeah, they probably would see it as a step down. But sometimes, you know, they might need that. They might look at Jesse Lingard when he first signed for us. I bet he thought about going West Ham. Loved it. Loved his time. I know it didn't work out for him in the end with us signing him, but he was a different player. And sometimes players need to do that in their careers, because I'm looking around this transfer window thinking, who are we going to attract? And we've got to be looking at players that are on the fringe of getting into World Cup squads that need game time. And if someone can come in to our club in January and for the rest of the season play their hearts out, help keep us up, it's only good for them. It's good for us as well.
Yeah.
I said this yesterday to a lot of people, you know, when you're looking at who you're going to attract, right? And it is, you are right. You've got to be looking at players who are going to be knocking on the door of international, like looking to get a World Cup place. And there's not many of them players really that are going to try and come to us, right? For me, this is the thing. We've got Callum Wilson, right? He wants that 100 Premier League goals, right? So he's going to get there and he's going to try because he wants to score goals to get his own record, right? So he's doing something for himself, but it benefits us at the same time. So we need to bring players in like that, right? We have got to move hell for leather to go and get Ivan Toney, because he's the only striker out there that has got Premier League experience, who knows where the goal is, and he wants to get in that England squad for the World Cup, right? He will score us goals. That's the type of player that we've got to get.
I think we need to try and shift on Paqueta and replace him with someone who's actually going to create chances, like concrete chances, someone in that position that is going to give you sort of be that playmaker and be that difference maker. I think he needs replacing. His mind is elsewhere. So because you can have a will, we do need a striker regardless. But I think if you just stick a Tony, say you just put Tony in, I don't think it really it will help. But I don't think it's going to make the major impact that we need until we fix some of the other issues around the pitch, you know.
But the issues around the pitch is the manager not starting a striker. Go back to yesterday's game. Look at the amount of times we've got the ball out wide and we've got an opportunity to swing across into the box. There's no one in the box because we ain't got a striker. You look at Fulham,
striker, but he's not starting him. So what makes you think Simon Tony's going to change it?
You look at Fulham. Right, look at Fulham. I know you guys weren't there. Watch Fulham's warm-up, right? You ever get a video to see Fulham's warm-up? What were they doing in the warm-up? Pinging the crossfield ball to the fullback, who was taking the first touch, crossing the ball into the box. Because they knew that's the thing they're going to do. Their goal, technically, come from that. The fullback whacked the ball into the box. When, Skulls missed it, whacked the ball in the box. Jimenez is in there. They do that because they know their striker's going to be in that position. We get the ball out wide in them sort of areas. We take 3 or 4 touches, go backwards, because we know there's no one in the box to cross the ball to.
When we do bring players on that gives us height, we take off the players that want to put the ball in the box. There's no balance.
Yeah, we bring on Souček, right? We bring on Souček, and I like Souček, right? Don't get me wrong, I ain't criticising Souček, but Souček's at that stage now where because he's not that quick, if you're not throwing balls into the box and have him in the box, there's no point bringing him on the pitch. It's absolutely pointless because all he does is slow our midfield down even more, right? And yesterday, we bring him on. How many times did we cross the ball? 2 or 3 times? He's in the box. He wins the header. The knockdown doesn't go to the player or, he doesn't get a chance. But you've got to be doing that the whole time. Sometimes route 1 is the right way to go when you've got a player like him that's so good in the air. But we don't do that. It's always get the ball wide, back, pass it backwards, all the way back to the centre half. Let's go out to the left and do exactly the same thing. Predictable. 3 managers, predictable.
But that's the thing is, Scott, that's what I'm saying is, say you just go and sign Tony, if he's not starting the striker we have, like who's to say he's going to start Tony? And this is
the thing, right? Sitting there, I've seen someone call me delusional because I think that the squad can get us out of trouble. Where's the problem? The tactics. Who picks the tactics of the team? Yeah. The manager.
I do think the squad is poor, Scott. Like as a squad, say 11.
The squad is poor.
I think we have a good 11, right? Yep. But look at the bench, mate.
Yeah,
shocking.
But this is the thing, Dan. Get the tactics right. Get the starting 11 right. yeah, you haven't got to rely on that bench that much, and it gives you that opportunity to strengthen in January.
I think that if we did have someone like Ivan Toney in our squad and he didn't start, then I think there would be major fucking rows over there. Because look, I personally don't think we'd get Ivan Toney. I think he'd have a lot of clubs after him. Would Ivan Toney want to come into a relegation battle if someone from mid-table or above comes in for him? Probably not. But look, it's just that you just got to keep that hope in you. You just got hope. I mean, Tuesday night, Brighton at home, team that we hardly ever beat. I think we've beaten once in the Premier League. We've now got to try to get something out of these. And now it's coming down to where I don't care what performances are like. We just need results. I could sit there for 90 minutes, backs to the wall, and if we nicked a 1-0 win, I take it because we just need points now. And we've got to try to close that gap because the more chances we miss of getting 3 points, Forest, Leeds will pick up wins. Burnley will start picking up wins soon, and then you find yourself down there with Wolves. And yeah, it's difficult at the moment because I think as well, even if we do stay up this season, we've got to look at the bigger picture because next season will just be even tougher because we've got a big. There's a lot. Look, I know I don't want to talk about the future that we've got this season to go yet, but there's so much that's got to be done at this football club, and it starts from the top all the way down to the bottom. There needs a massive clear out in this football club. But I'm just hoping that in January we can pick up, a couple of decent players that will. People we sign have to improve our first team, not bench players. They have to be starters for this fucking team. They have to be good enough to come in to take. To be honest, that ain't hard at the moment. I mean, it's not hard. I mean, I know we've been linked with Traore again. Now I'm looking at that thinking we've signed 50 strikers under Sullivan and when Gold was alive, and none of them have ever worked out. Our best players that have worked out as strikers have been converted wingers. So Traore could come in and could surprise us. So, but that's the type of player we need to be bringing in, someone that's going to help us out.
Yeah, it's instant impact is for sure. But this is the thing we've got before we bring a player in, we've got like another 4 games before we're likely to bring it 4 games.
And this is why we have to hope that these bastards we've got playing for us now can drag us through this and pick up some results. Because I said it the other day, any chance of surviving 7 to 9 points out of them 4 games minimum. And now we're hoping now that we've got to try to get 3 wins.
Yeah, Brighton, it's a good team. They're a good team, and we just have to be brave. Like we're going to have to treat. Are we supposed to treat the Fulham game like a cup final? We've got to treat this like a cup final. I want to see us. Our lives depend on it. It's literally our Premier League survival hinges on us starting to pick up wins now. And Nuno, like Scott said, he's going to have to get it right. He's going to have to be brave and be bold and put out a team that can cause Brighton problems and can try and fix the issue of scoring goals. There's no worry about sitting there and being conservative in that because, if we do say, if we get that elusive clean sheet, great. But we're not scoring goals. We're not going to win. A point isn't good enough. If we draw against Brighton, I'm sorry, that's not good enough to get us out of the shit. We need to start picking up 3 points. And Brighton, Wolves, Forest, huge games before we can even think about players coming in.
The thing is, as well, you look at that incident yesterday in the game, and this is the difference between our team this season and other teams. Somerville does an overhead kick that nowhere near the defender's head. What does he do? Hold his head. Ref gives a free kick. A few weeks ago, Mavropanos, same thing. Brighton away, 1-0 up, last kick of the game. Same thing happens. They get a goal from it. Mavropanos doesn't hold it. That's the difference. It's just when we go back to that game, that's what I said. Mavropanos holds his head and goes down. The referee gives a free kick straight away. Straight away, he's going to play his whistle. Yesterday, Somerville done the same thing. Their defender weren't even nowhere near him. First thing the defender done, went down holding his head, free kick.
I think that's another issue, in our team. I think this team is too nice. There's no aggression, no gamesmanship. We need to start to turn a bit nasty. And I just think we just, all around the pitch, we just come across too nice for me.
The thing is, you see it yesterday, right? There was a Tanibo went through and was offside and hit the ball. First thing the Fulham centre half done, run over to the referee holding his hand in the air to try and get him booked. Referee books it.
That should be a booking in itself,
Yeah.
though.
And then in the second half, a Fulham player does exactly the same thing. The referee then sits there, weren't going to book him, and it wasn't until a West Ham player went up to him and went, "Well, you booked Tadibo for that ref?" He went, "Oh yeah," and went and booked him. The ref was shit yesterday, absolute shit yesterday.
Oh yeah, he's an idiot.
That ain't the reason we lost the game, but the ref was shit. You know, some of his decisions were fucking awful. That overhead kick one, like Ryan said, that was an awful decision. You know, you can't have overhead kicks in football anymore. What's that all about?
Yeah.
You know, it's a contact sport. Start acting like it's a contact sport.
You can, Scott, because Brighton done it.
Yeah, exactly. But this is gamesmanship. I get it, right? And I get you play the dirty side of the game. We don't like to see it. How many people moan at Paquetá when he rolls around on the floor after saying that he's been hurt and he gets up and runs off? This is the problem. Us for fans, we don't like that. But the problem is other teams do it to us and we fall foul with it. And this is the problem.
This is the thing. Paquetá yesterday got fouled 2 or 3 times. And a couple of them were fouled, and the referee played on because he's that sort of player where referees are looking at him thinking he's just going down.
Mate,
he's just going down all the time.
There was a Somerville was running through, and the geezers barged him in the back, and he's gone down, and the referee just said play on, shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, but then I was watching the game. I think it was the Man United game I watched the night before. Player does exactly the same thing. Referee blows up free kick. You know, the inconsistency. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but again, that isn't why we're losing games.
No, that's what I'm saying. How long's Nuno? Nuno's been here 13 games now, and what's he got? 2? Is it 2 wins or 3 wins? 2 wins, 4 draws, 7 defeats.
That's bad. That's bad.
It's not good enough. There's no new manager bounce there. Why are we the only club in the world that never gets a new manager bounce?
Yeah,
everyone else does. We never have a new manager bounce.
Yeah, I can't think of any time we've ever had one.
I personally, I don't think they're going to sack him. You know, unless they have got someone in like lined up. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Harry Redknapp. I'll be very surprised if that.
Listen, you don't want Harry Redknapp anywhere near our football club. Anywhere near our football club. The state of the football club in now is a bad thing to come into this football club.
Yeah, you know, and do you know what? As Irons TV said, like it's not a great look bringing him in just after Billy Bonds has passed away. You know, with everything that happened between them, and then you bring in Harry Redknapp. Mate, he's got to stay away from the club.
Harry Redknapp's 78 years old. As I said, the other day he was at horse racing. His horse won. He looked like happy as fucking Larry. You know what I mean? Why does he want to put himself back in that situation of coming back to a struggling football club? Look, there's probably no better manager in football than Harry Redknapp. He'll put his arm around these players and tell them they're the best in the world. We've seen him do it with a lot of shit when he was with us before. But I can't see it happening. I don't know.
Sam before I take Harry Redknapp, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you know what? If I was West Ham, you know, I'd just chuck money in this transfer window, keep us up. And look, Marco Silva's out of his contract's up at Fulham in the summer. I'll be probably looking to maybe bring him in, get rid of Nuno. But then again, look, you don't know. Nuno could have a fucking blinding second half of the season and get it right. It only takes a couple of signings to get you going.
And as I said, I've been critical of him from the outset, right? But I want him to prove me wrong. Listen, Kyle Walker-Peters has proved me massively wrong. You know, and I thought he had a good game yesterday. I thought the way he was with Skulls after the game as well was absolutely brilliant. You know, and that's what you want, people to prove you wrong. When you doubt them and you pull them up on the things that they prove you wrong. And I'm glad I was wrong about Kyle Walker-Peters. I really want to be wrong about Nuno.
I'm sure you want to be wrong about Nuno as well, Scott.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just it's going to be a difficult. I mean, look, I think Tuesday will tell us a lot. I think Brighton at home, if we can sort of nick a result there, nick the 3 points, and then because yesterday win over Fulham and Forest losing, it'd have been a 2-point gap. Yep. You know, and then you're sitting there thinking, it's just the more we keep losing because these other teams will pick up points, they will pick up wins around us, and then you just find yourself adrift. I think the last time we was at this point at this stage of the season was when we got relegated under Avram Grant. So, but the difference with that Avram Grant team and that is we had a Scott Parker in that team, someone who fucking had a bit of fight, a Colton Cole. weren't the greatest, but he'll put his shift in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Denver Bart, goal scorer. You know, we give anything for them three now, won't we?
This is the thing, mate. This is it, and you know, there's no reason against Brighton for Wilson not to start.
No.
You know, we need goals. We need a striker. We need a striker plan. He has to start him. He can't. There's no justification to not start him. You know,
I mean, if that team sheet comes out, Scott, and it's the same lineup again, I might not even bother watching it, mate. I know you're probably. Are you going to the game?
Yeah, I'll be there, mate. I'll be there.
Yeah, mate. I'd wait for the team to come out before you set off.
Yeah. But this is the thing, you know. You see that team yesterday, mate, and just everyone's like the same. You know, I don't think there was one person really, barring the manager, that looked at that team and thought, yeah, that's the right 11.
Do you think maybe, like, I think someone just mentioned it there, but I was thinking it a little while ago. Do you think that maybe dropping Paqueta would get the better out of him? Because if he gets dropped, you know, it might give him a kick up the arse to think, shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be dropped. I need to come on and get my. Do you reckon he needs dropping? Do you reckon
He needs
I'm not
dropping.
prepared to say this. Do you think Bowen might need dropping for a game?
I think Paqueta needs dropping. Bowen, I just don't think we're in a position to drop him.
I think Bowen for me.
If
I look at the two of them, I've got more confidence in Bowen to score for us or create something than Paqueta. So yeah, I can understand maybe not dropping Bowen. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I just don't know. Something needs to happen. Something needs to change in that lineup.
Yeah.
Getting Wilson in and dropping Paqueta, but then again, you think bringing Wilson in, you don't really want to drop Paqueta because he creates. You know,
this is it. This is the problem.
If he's going to come to Wilson, it's probably going to come through him. You got Somerville, Paqueta, and Bowen feeding Wilson.
Yep.
Then that means that maybe Magassa or Potts has to drop out, which is harsh. But sometimes you have to tweak the team just to get something right.
Yeah. I do like our midfield, but I do think that through them three players, they're very sort of similar players. There's not much different between them. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, I'm not saying they're all of each other.
Potts and Magassa are similar. I like Fernandez. I like the way he can get forward when he's given the free reign. He does like to get forward and he can create. So he's a different.
The player I wish we got for the midfield is Granit Xhaka. I think that would have been a good signing for us. The leadership ability, he's got a bit of that grit in midfield that we're missing. I think that would have been a good sign. I think we missed out on, to be honest with you.
Not in this team, Dan. Not in this team.
But we miss a player like
Dan, I totally agree with you, but not in a team that lacks pace.
Well, yeah, we needed more pace
around him. That's the problem. That's what you've got to look at. You know, we've seen with strikers coming in. Look, Fulkrug ain't covered himself in glory, but you've got a slow striker with a slow midfield that doesn't play high up the pitch. What do you expect? Yeah, it's all about the right players in the right positions. Wilson occupies defenders. Wilson makes runs. Wilson ain't looking to try and link up all the time. He's looking to make the run. He's looking to make the defenders work that create space for other players around him. Right? It's having the right players to fit. You put Xhaka in our midfield. Well, at the start of the season, when Potts and Magassa weren't playing for that, it doesn't work. You would have had a Xhaka playing alongside a Souček and a Rodriguez, or a Souček and an Irvine. I
totally forgot about Irvine.
This is what I'm saying. This is the problem. You've got to have a manager that's going to pick the right players around certain players. Yes, a player like Xhaka, who can pick a pass, who can get down and dirty when need be, and has got that leadership quality, will strengthen our midfield with the right players around him.
Yeah, but you say, for instance, right? Say, for instance, you had a midfield of Xhaka, Magassa, and Fernandez. Fernandez and Magassa are the legs.
Works.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just think overall, and there's other signings, I think we ultimately do need more pace in the team up front. And anyway, I just think that type of player, I like our midfield, but we lack experience. and the leadership role there, and someone with a bit of grit who can fucking get hold of the game, put
Do
in
you
tackle.
know who would have been probably perfect for that?
Uh,
Alvarez, the one that we loaned out.
Yeah.
mm,
Him
Mate,
around Magasser and Potts would have been perfect for me.
yeah,
Imagine
yeah,
having someone like that and an Emerson in your squad now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Having us
That's Graham Potter for you. But then it goes back to Karen Brady because she wanted to hire a bloody, mate's husband or whatever it is, and that it all comes back to the buck always stops at the top, mate. And let's just hope that we find. Well, I think if we can get that first win, we say we beat Brighton, that could just be enough to give us that little bit of boost, that bit of positivity to then go into Wolves. Wolves then becomes a great opportunity. I think if we don't beat Brighton, I think we're going into Wolves, in a deficit mentally. But if we beat Brighton, we go in and beat Wolves, and you get 2 back-to-back, it puts us in a good position.
Yeah, you're right. You're spot on there. Like you better get a good win against Brighton. You go confidence with Wolves, and then obviously you got the FA Cup as well. QPR. You nick a win there. Then you got 3 in a row. In all competitions, and then it gives everyone confidence. It's a different workplace environment. Everyone's coming in, and you start getting that bit of confidence. And then you go into January. Hopefully, we can get in a few players early in January, not try to leave it to last minute. But yeah, it all starts with you just got to take it game by game now. And Brighton is a cup final. Wolves is a cup final. Every game is a cup final now for us because I know people say they prefer to be in the Championship and that, but look, you want to be in the Premier League. You got to be in the Premier League because I think dropping down to the Championship, I think we'll probably see League One before we see Premier League again.
Yeah,
and that's my honest truth about it. I really think that is. I know when we've been relegated before, we've been lucky. We've had Upton Park. We was a big attractive club. I think it would die. It would die if we get relegated. So we need to stay up. And look, and I still think we will. Call me mad, but I still think we will. We're gonna pull something out in January, and it's gonna change our season.
Do you know what, Ryan? When you said, sorry, Dan, when you said about yesterday, you had that feel about the Great Escape, the Tottenham game, and all that. What happened after that Spurs game? There was a massive thingy in the dressing room with the players, right? And apparently yesterday there was a massive talk with the players in the dressing room after the game yesterday. It could be the turning point in the season. Like you said, like Dan was saying, if we do beat Brighton and then go and get a result against Wolves, things could change. Lose to Brighton, I think we lose to Wolves. I don't. That's the worry for me. And then if we lose these 2, then that's the nail in the coffin. That's us done. I really do think that is.
Oh yeah. We if we don't pick up any points in the next 2 games, that's it for me. We're done.
I think even if you're picking up a draw here and there, I think Brighton. I think we just got to look at Brighton and just fucking win that. You win that, then we've got something. We don't win that, then I don't feel like I should have any hope that we can stay up because we just cannot. That'd be 14 games, 2 wins. It's just not. It's not good enough. So they've got to throw their bodies on the line for that game. Nuno's got to sit there and he needs to be spending his time figuring out a way to beat Brighton. No fucking stone unturned. So let's just hope, lads. That's all we've got is hope because there's been no evidence that we can go and put wins together. So let's hope that something just happens and turns around. To be honest with you, it's not fun, but if we do start, it'll be even sweeter. But I tell you what, if we do go down, how bad, honestly, will it look on the ownership who moved us to Upton Park to compete for Champions League, and then we're playing in the Championship? That would be 2 relegations we've seen under this ownership.
And that will be back in the Championship 10 years exactly after we left the Bowling Ground.
Yeah.
One of the biggest embarrassments in football.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. What a gift. So, yeah, honestly, lads, let's just hope something happens at Brighton. We'll all be looking at that lineup very, very keenly. I'll be back for the watch along in my usual setting. I think JC should be there as well. So we're gonna see how things go, and we're gonna keep on top of the transfer news as well. Honestly, we're starting talking about names like bloody Harry Redknapp and all this shit. It's gonna be silly season. We're gonna be linked with everything. Nah,
is Carlos Bacca still available?
Yeah. Do you know what? Imagine we finally got him back up. He's 40
He's
now.
about 60 years old now, I think.
Yeah. Once again, thank you very much to OK Jerseys for sponsoring this video. You can go get the jersey. Scotty's Iron Maiden one. It's bloody cold here, so I've got it to hold up. There's a West Ham. They've got some England shirts. Ryan's got coming a very, very nice Mexico shirt that he'll show off once he gets it. Looks good, like all them international shirts, some England shirts we got coming because we got the World Cup. So yeah, it's coming over from China. So it will take, I think, about 9 days or so. You can use the code. I believe there's a code Nicky10 for 10% off. When I get home, I'll put the graphic up, and I've got the graphic at home for that. But Nicky10,
put Dan 25 in and see what happens.
yeah, good. Just give it a go. Just give it a go. Honestly, well, someone before said if you put in Dan 8, you get 8% on. So yeah, honestly, big thank you to them. Lots of good stuff, and like I said, you wouldn't know any different. It's good quality gear. So you go and go.
To cheer myself up, I'm off out tomorrow. I'm going to see the Sleeping Beauty in the pantomime up London, which is meant to be very like adult humour in it. It's got Catherine Tate in it, Julian Clary. So we're all out tomorrow. So that should cheer me up.
Ah, bloody hell, Julian Clary. There's a fucking blast from the past. Yeah. Bloody hell.
I know someone that went to see it last week, and they said it's very to the mark of like adult like humour and that. So I'm looking forward to it. A few drinks before. I think I'm going to need it.
Yeah, 100%. It's good stuff. And look, I see a lot of people holding the red cards up. I will say this, and I would like to get Big Dave on actually to have this debate with him, because I see his fan cam, and he was criticising the protests again, and saying they need to do more. And it just irks me when people do that and aren't willing to do anything themselves. You sit there and you criticize the people that are doing something, that are trying to make change, doing marches, black balloons, red cards, boycotts, sit-ins, trying everything. And people go, it's not good enough, do more. But I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to do anything, but you should do more. So
what would have been good, because obviously there was a couple of people around me that didn't know anything about the red card thing. So it would have been nice to, if people were handing them out in the ground, just.
Well, they need more people to volunteer to help hand them out. That's the thing.
I totally get that, but as I said, it's just some people didn't know about it that would have participated. That's all. I ain't going to criticise them at all. What they're doing, and they're trying to come up with different ways of doing it and be a bit different, and it's good. No,
it is good. And I think it's a start, so it builds. But personally, like I said, and listen, I'd get on with Big Dave. We have him on the channel. You know what I mean? I enjoy a lot of his fan cams, but I just think he was out of order in that regard, because he's just, every chance he gets, he criticised the protests.
I don't think he was really criticising it. He was, because when you watch the fan cam back, he was saying you've now got your foot on their throat, so ramp it up a bit. That's what I think. I think he probably come across a bit wrong. I think he was trying to, basically say keep going, but up the ante a little.
He's had a lot to say about the protests in the past, but he's never been involved in one, and that's the thing. So what I would say to Big Dave is he's given himself a good platform now, and listen, we'd love to. Well, not we. I'm not an organizer, but as a fan, the fan base that do want to protest, we'd all love to have every person help. So I'd say to Big Dave, like, if you think there's a better way, then do it, and we'll get behind you. Go and do it. Do the way that you think it's done, and that goes to everyone. That if you think that this ain't good enough, we need to do this. Do it, because what else are we going to do? Like I said, we got to try to get these out, because we'll always be in this situation with them in charge. Nothing will change in the grand scheme of things. So that's just my thing. Hopefully, I can get him on and, like I said, have this debate with him face to face. I love a good debate, as everyone knows. But other than that, look, it's still. I guess it's still Christmas time. Do we still count this as Christmas time? Yes,
Yeah.
the holiday season, as Americans say. So enjoy it. You know, finish off with your Quality Street, your Ferrero Rochers, and your beers. And you know, hope you all have a good one.
Yeah, and you, mate. Yeah, and we'll probably do. Are we going to do post-match pint on Wednesday? That'd be New Year's Eve, wouldn't it?
New Year's Eve, yeah.
So
We'll be in our we've got group chat, and we'll see what everyone's availability is and see if we can get together, or if we have to. We'll see what we'll do, but there will be some sort of post-match pint. You know, taking you into the New Year's, and hopefully it's a happy one. Please, God, let it be a happy one.
Okay, let's end 2025 on a sort of a high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's probably been one of the worst years supporting West Ham, innit? And we've seen some crap. But 2025, I think we'll all want to write this year off, and hopefully 2026 will be a much better year for West Ham.
Mate, we've had 4 home wins all year, and we've got 1 game left of the year. So we have a chance to take it to 5 home wins in 2025. Wow.
That's crazy.
And it's fair to think that Tottenham have got a worse record than us.
That blows my mind.
And we're moaning.
Yeah. But we're in the bottom 3.
Exactly.
I would swap with them in a heartbeat.
They won today, didn't they? Did they win?
Yeah, they beat Palace. Bastards. Palace was so wasteful in the first half. Fucking bastards.
They're unraveling now, mate. Palace. Unraveling.
That's them out of the relegation battle now, then.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think right now it's just to end it off. Wolves, Leeds aren't completely out of it, but they are further away from it. But if I genuinely think what I think between us, Burnley, and Forest, right? That's how I'm feeling, like, realistically.
And because there's a Leeds fan in it, I'm going to keep Leeds in it, drag Leeds back into it.
Yeah,
I still think they'll be in it. They're having a bit of a purple patch now, but I still think they'll be in it.
They might be marching on together, but let's hope they're not marching up the table, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is it. Like, the thing is, I don't know if it's just that, like I said, they've got a great home support, and I think that's enough. The 12th man gets them above.
Give me an Ellen Road right now. Fucking hell.
Yeah, mate. It makes a difference.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look, I know we have banter with the Leeds and that, but their fan base, their atmosphere at Ellen Road is unreal. You know, and you know that gets you points. That wins your games. Atmospheres. You know, players work off of that energy, and that's what we're not doing at home at the moment. We're not generating that sort of atmosphere, and it's difficult because fans only react to what's going on the pitch, and if the players ain't putting it in, the fans ain't going to react. And
I'll be honest, mate. I thought yesterday's atmosphere was okay. You know, I think the fans did get behind the team and try their best. You know, we know it's hard there to get any real atmosphere going.
It was good for the London Stadium. It was decent for the London.
It was. The atmosphere was a lot better
on the telly. Like compared to like City Ground, Elland Road, all that, it's still shit. But for what we've had, it seemed to be, from hearing it on the telly, the best atmosphere at home all season.
Yeah, mate, honestly, I think it was. It was.
What, yesterday's game?
Yeah.
That's probably because people were still pissed from fucking Christmas, Scott.
yeah, isn't it? Honestly.
Everyone was just happy to get out of the house.
yeah, that's probably what it is. Christmas little bonus there. Rich West Ham, £10 super chat, says, thanks for all the great shows this year, guys. Happy New Year, everyone. And listen, thanks to you, Rich, and thank you. I see that you mentioned that you put a super chat in that got missed. Obviously, you put it in not yesterday, whenever it was, Friday Night Pint. But yeah, this is the thing. If you put a super chat in way before we go live, there's a chance it might be missed. So we appreciate your support, but if you do want to make sure it gets read out, then just save it when we are live, and we'll definitely see it. But we appreciate all your super chats and your normal chats, and we appreciate everyone this year who's watched and supported us in their own way, just watching or hitting the thumbs up. And we do appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you, Rich, and thank you to everyone else in here, our members, just our viewers and the regulars that we see every show. So thank you all. Hope you've had a great Christmas and having a great
This is for Scott. That one's for Scott.
My 2 pennies is that Nuno joined Forest on 23rd of the 12th, 2023, when they were fourth from bottom. A year later, they were third. Lots to do, but all hope is not lost. I think the main thing is,
I hope he proves me wrong, as I said.
Listen, if he can keep us up and have players in and have a pre-season, I think we'll see a lot better Nuno. But the question mark is he a manager that can get us out of the massive mess that we're in? Because to be fair, he didn't inherit the mess at Forest that he's inherited at West Ham. We're a bigger mess. Like I said, they're full from bottom. We've been there and thereabouts, and honestly, an absolute catastrophe.
And Forest had a big squad.
Yeah, they had a big squad. We have a tiny squad.
Not a small squad.
We have a time. So there is differences there, and let's just hope we can stay up and kick on. So all to play for. Brighton, another must win. Let's hope. But whatever happens, don't let West Ham ruin your time, ruin your Christmas time with your family. Look, we've all got each other. So
and Baileys.
And Baileys, yeah. And your Baileys, get on the Baileys. Listen, thank you all so much for watching and listening to us moan for an hour and just sharing in the misery with us. We'll be back for content leading up to the Brighton game and around the Brighton game. So yeah, appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. One thing left to say. Come on,
Lions.